Professor Noto here. Is your child being bullied at school but keeping it a secret from you? Here are 3 reasons why that might be happening. Professor Noto here, and today we're going to go over 3 reasons why your child might be getting bullied at school and keeping it a secret from you. So when we go to schools and we talk to the kids one-on-one in private and they get bullied and they don't tell anybody, they give us 3 reasons. Reason number 1, they don't want to let their parent down, okay? Parents will often say things like, when I was your age, I would have did this, or when I was in school, I would have just done this, or why didn't you do this? Daddy told you that when he went to school, he did this, or mommy used to do this when she was at school. And we need to understand that our child is not us, and also the landscape is completely different, right? We went to school 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and the landscape is completely different around what the child is going through now, especially with things like social media. It's completely different. So the strategies that we used can't use today, right? Even something as far as like 5, 8 years ago is completely different now. So what we need to do is look at our child and see where their skills are, and then develop a game plan based on where our child's skills are, right? Especially if it's something immediate, like they need to take immediate action. You know, of course we can grow their skills over time to deal with these situations, but looking exactly at where they are right now, they're probably not going to be able to do the things that we were able to do because they're not us. The child will often tell us that they don't want to get their mom or dad mad by explaining to them what happened because they don't want to be like a disappointment to their family, right? And of course, our children will never be a disappointment to us, but that's how things come off when we tell them how we would have handled it and they know that they can't do that. The second thing that comes up is they don't want to get in trouble. So they know that if they get into fights at school, if they get into arguments at school, they're going to get into some type of trouble, right? So trouble could be suspension, trouble can be detention, trouble could be bad report on their report card, trouble can be 0 or like a red mark in their book, and they don't want to get in trouble, especially the students who are really looking to achieve great grades in school. They don't want to put anything in the way of that, and so what will happen is they just won't say anything at all. And so if a bully is doing something to them or picking on them, they don't want to have the situation become even bigger, so they just won't say anything at all. And they'll usually hope that, you know, maybe the bully will pick on someone else the next day, and that's usually not the case, of course. So they won't say anything at all because they're afraid that if they do something, they'll get in trouble. They're afraid that if they retaliate, they'll definitely get in trouble. You know, if a bully hits them and they hit them back or push them away or shove them or defend themselves and now things get physical, they know that there'll probably be some type of consequence for that and they're worried about getting in trouble. Reason number 3, and to me this is one of the most important ones, is the child will tell us that they already told an adult. They already told their teacher. They already told their parent, and the parent didn't do anything about it, or the teacher didn't do anything about it. Now, truth be told is the parent usually does do something about it, but, and this is the big point that we really got to get, is that if we overpromise and underdeliver, it's like we didn't do anything at all, okay? So in the heat of the moment, a parent often will jump the gun and say things like, I'm going to go to the principal. I'm going to talk to the principal tomorrow. But you might not be able to talk to the principal. Maybe you're only able to talk to the teacher. Maybe you're only able to talk to the guidance counselor. Maybe you can talk to the assistant principal. You might not be able to get all the way up to the top and talk to the principal. And so if you say that in the heat of the moment in front of your child, who at the moment is feeling very insecure, feeling hurt, feeling sad, and they have this hope that you're going to go all the way up to the top and talk to the principal, and then you don't, it's a letdown for them, right? Well, I'm going to talk to the other person's, I'm going to talk to that kid's mom. I'm going to talk to that kid's dad. You might not be able to do that. You might not be able to do that. They might not even have a parent in the situation. You don't know what you're able to do yet. So a better strategy would be to let your child know that you are going to do something about this, and then give it a moment to breathe. And then as you do something, report back to your child what you did. So if you were able to talk to the principal, then you can tell your child, I went to school today, I talked to the principal. That's going to have different weight than if you tell them before you go to do it that you're going to do it and then you can't. right? It's a big letdown. So kids will often say that. They'll go, you know, my mom said she was gonna do this, and I told her about this bully, and my dad said he was gonna talk to the guy's dad, and they were gonna change my class, and then all they did was move my seat. And it's a big letdown for the kid. So then they get bullied again, and they don't tell anybody because they already told them once before or twice before, and they didn't get the results that they were hoping for. You basically just don't overpromise and underdeliver, and that's super hard to do, right? Because it's our child that's getting bullied, and we're so passionate, and we care about them, and we love them, and we want what's best for them. But in the moment, if we don't watch what we're saying, it could be a big letdown for them. So just to recap, the 3 things that children tell us when we go to these schools and talk to bullies, and talk to the kids about bullies, is 1, they don't say anything because they're nervous that their parents would think less of them or be disappointed in them if they told them and they weren't able to handle the situation. 2, they're nervous about getting in trouble. They legit believe that if they defend themselves, especially if they have to physically defend themselves, then that means that they're putting their hands on someone, which means they could get suspended, which means they'll have a huge impact on their school grades. They don't want to let that happen. They don't want to get in trouble, so they don't say anything at all. And 3, they tell us that, well, I already told my parents before, I already told my teacher before, and they just didn't do anything about it. They didn't live up to the expectation that the child had, okay? Hopefully this helps out. If you have any questions or comments or something you want to get off your chest around bullies, leave it in the comments below. If it's really personal, then send me a private message, okay? Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.